Hello friends, bienvenidos. My name is Jen, aka Jen Carlo on social media, your local witchy friend and intuitive guide through the occult. As always, my lovely husband and co-host is David, aka Premier Poles on social media.
Hi everyone, on today's episode, Jen explains Totem Poles.
Welcome to the show, grab a chair, make yourself at home. Jen's got stories to share, you'll never feel alone.
Totem Poles. Yeah, we came up with this idea while we were enjoying our cruise in Alaska, which seems like forever ago, but I think it was end of April, beginning of May, so it wasn't that long ago, but it does feel like a long time ago, huh?
Yeah, but we also stopped in Canada, not just Alaska.
Yes, we did stop in Canada. That's the thing I think about being a small business owner. Like, you can't ever take a mental vacation. You should, but it's hard to. But obviously, as we were over there was a lot of nature. There was a lot of cool things that were beyond just, being on vacation. We did learn a lot and had a good experience just knowing a different part of the country, and also just getting in touch with some of our more like nature seeing sites. We don't have that too much in Merced, so it was really fun. But go ahead.
I was gonna say nature is everywhere, right? So Merced is very flat, and it also does have a lot of creeks, and there is like a protected wetland, wildland in Merced. It's closer to the jail, like Sandy Mush, between here and I want to say Dos Palos-ish area. So we have nature. It's just like not the nature that is like Instagram worthy all the time. Although there are some people that take very cool pictures of Merced, I will say.
All I'm saying is you're not going to compare 16th Street to like a glacier in Alaska.
Yes, but you're not going to compare any metropolitan area to a glacier in Alaska. I'm just saying, don't hate on Merced so quickly. And this is normally unlike us. We love Merced.
I love Merced too. Yeah, just Alaska was beautiful. So.
Alaska is just indescribable. Yeah.
All right, so that's the reason why we're doing this episode. It's really fascinating. I think we took a tour. They might have mentioned it a little bit. One of the stops we did was like really known for its totem poles. I want to say Ketchikan, maybe?
Oh, it's just all of that region.
Yeah. But
so
let's get into it.
So totem poles are more native to the indigenous people of the Pacific Northwest. So from from Washington, Canada, Alaska, back all the way up to Canada. So really like those indigenous people are the ones that had totem poles. They are made out of cedar. Cedar is very sacred and also abundant in the Pacific Northwest of the Americas. So because of that, there were a lot of totems and there are a lot of misconceptions. But just like the Voladores episode, there's a lot of nuance from region to region, tribe to tribe. But I was able to glean sort of some basic principles regardless of the tribe, which I'm excited to get into. There are a lot of misconceptions from popular media about what a totem pole is. A lot of people view it as a symbol of power and hierarchy, which is not always the case. And one of the documentaries that I was watching about totem poles, there is a saying that people used to say a lot more, and it's not as PC anymore, but being bottom of the totem pole, there really is like no top or bottom, better or worse when it comes to like the historical totem poles, because everything at the bottom supports everything at the top. So it's not necessarily like a hierarchy, I'm better than you, I'm the king sort of thing. So just wanted to clear up that common, or used to be more common saying in society.
Yeah, I think some of the more popular things that I hear about totem poles is that they're spirits, or that they embody like a certain spirit within them. And I'm sure there is part of it, but I know there's also some like pragmatic uses to them, at least back in the day, right?
Yeah. So a good way to think about it, it's a way to communicate. It could be like a record keeping system, and there are like 7 general different types of totem poles. They could range between 10 to 173 feet tall.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are way different heights depending on what you need them for.
And I'm assuming that there's people in the tribe who like, or the community who specialize in making them, right?
Yes, although that art is being lost, and it was lost because of the colonizers. We'll talk about all that, a little bit later. Yeah. You know how the story goes. We've talked about it. Colonizers say no, bad, you know?
Yeah. I think in today's day and age is more the like aesthetic too. It's been commercialized, and it's one of those things where you go for the fine line of appropriation versus appreciation, right? Like if you do buy like an authentic one from a craftsman who is from the people from the regions and that's how they make their living, I don't necessarily think there's anything particularly wrong with that. If you buy like the mass-produced ones, or maybe somebody who's not part of that culture or that community, I think that's where we get into some murky waters. A lot of the things that we looked in Alaska, we tried to buy local. It's really cool because all their stuff is labeled. They have like an official seal of like made in Alaska. So we try to go at least made in Alaska, but we preferred getting something from like the actual place we were at or the city we were at. And we tried to stick to that as much as we could. We did pick one up. This one had the little sticker that said made in Alaska, so I was happy to pick this one up. Usually the things that are like made locally within the Alaskan community, from what I saw, were a little more expensive than like the mass-produced things made from China, but it wasn't that bad. The discrepancy wasn't that bad. I mean, I think some things were only like $10 more, and it's like, yeah, I'm more than happy to pay that just to support the local community. But again, going back to the appreciation versus appropriation, there's a bunch of mass-produced totem poles in Alaska. Like they have keychains, they have bottle openers, they have like desk ones. Like this one is a desk one, but it had made in Alaska, so I felt a little more comfortable purchasing it. But yeah.
Yeah, they had different types. There was like designed in Alaska, which is like the artist is getting royalties, but then maybe they send it overseas to be manufactured. But at least it was like the brainchild, or some of the proceeds are going to an Alaskan. Then there's made in Alaska, where it's like it could be made in a different part of Alaska and then sort of like shipped all over for tourists and stuff. And then there's like the made locally, which is like someone in the community made it from where you're purchasing from. As long as it was made in Alaska, it's like I don't have a problem if I'm buying it in Skagway and it was made in like Ketchikan. Like that doesn't bother me. But we wanted at least to buy as much like Alaskan, or when we were in Canada, like Canadian as we could.
It's interesting with globalization, because then you start getting into these tricky territories where we found this out. A lot of merchants and vendors are from other states, and they just move to Alaska for the busy season and then sell their goods or their wares. And maybe they do make it, or maybe they source it, but it's like, ooh, you're getting into these interesting territories where it's like, okay, this person technically does live here and they stimulate the community, but they are like basic tourists, merchants who only come during the busy season. So it's really interesting to see the like local economies of these tourist areas.
Yeah. And we also tried to buy from native artisans as much as we could as well. Yeah.
But all right, let's get back to the totem poles.
Yes. So there are 7 types of traditional totem poles. I would say the 8th at this point is decorative for tourists. I'm going to focus on the original 7. So there were memorial poles, which were raised to honor a living or recently deceased person, and it could also act as a will.
Ooh.
And there would be a face of the person that is supposed to like take over the estate, for a lack of a better word. It's like, you know, honoring this person, things that symbolize them, but then also the face of the person that is to like take over their legacy and all of that.
Interesting. Yeah. I like the part that it's a will, because at that point we're starting to get into actual documentation, right?
Yeah, so it was like a record keeping system in that instance.
I had a interesting thought recently, and I don't think I've actually shared this with you, but I was thinking about when we die, or one of us dies.
Oh, okay.
Just because I'm not scared to have those conversations.
That reminds me of the Barbie movie. Like, do you guys ever think about dying?
Yes. But in our Unhinged episodes, which was a podcast for our Patreons, we had an episode about death and our wills, and I was curious, like, would that hold up in a court of law? Like, if we don't have it written? I think it would, right? It's literally you saying in a video record of, like, what your wishes are.
Yes, if it was specific, because you have to cover all your bases, right?
Well, it didn't really talk about our, like, where you would want our things to go, but it was more of like what we wanted with our bodies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If someone tried to enforce it, like, I don't know, let's say I tragically pass away and it's you and my parents want to give me like a Catholic burial, then you could show like, well, the rights would go to you because you're my husband. But let's say for some reason, like we weren't married and we were just boyfriend and girlfriend and you didn't have that legal power, then yes, you could in theory enact on my behalf and be like, look, she recorded this before she died. This is technically like her will with what she wants with her body. I think it would hold up because I know a story of someone that got screwed over. Their mom had a gambling problem and then she basically wrote like somewhere, like she scribbled something
that like on a cocktail tower,
basically
cocktail napkin.
Yeah, like my estate is gonna go to you, and then all her children got screwed, and her gambling buddy got everything.
Are you sure that's not the scene from Suits?
No, this is somebody I know.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it happened in Suits. I don't remember that episode, but this is somebody that I know and I used to talk to who was telling me that they were upset about this.
Okay. This was very similar to an episode where Harvey had like a bet going and anyways, continue.
Okay. Then there are mortuary poles, which is basically like, you know how when you go to a cemetery and they have like a wall, almost like I hate to call it this, but like a locker or
a mausoleum?
I guess that's what you could call it. Yeah. Where they have like the deceased in like cubbies.
Oh, a crypt.
Yes.
Those are called crypts.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, that's what they're called.
I mean, I don't know. I'm taking your word for it.
But we'll have to fact check it.
We'll have to fact check it. But yeah. So it basically acts like that. It has like an opening where you could put the remains of the deceased in a box, often above whatever their crest figure was, like a bear or an eagle, because usually those are sacred animals to the native people of the Pacific Northwest. But again, depends region by region. And it is the rarest type and it is the tallest type to honor them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. I like that. Mm-hmm. It's a gravesite.
Yeah. And then there's a potlatch or commemorative poles, which are raised to commemorate an event or display the host clan crest. So it can act as a more decorative wealth and status type of crest. Like we're hosting this communal barbecue type thing. Like here's a totem to honor like the Smiths put this thing on in this year.
Okay, so almost like a marker of a special event?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they could be used for births, deaths, marriages, title transfers, and the redistribution of wealth, as well as, like I said, like other types of events, like more recreational. But with births, the totem would be like this is a new member of the clan. With deaths, this person died.
That's the way.
With marriages, there's the union of these people. With title transfers, like this person owns this thing now, like this property used to belong to so and so but now belongs to so and so.
And it sounds like that part was again also treated as a document of sorts, right? So it had legitimacy as far as like land transfers.
Yeah. And then there are shame poles, which are very interesting and also sort of rare, but they are erected to publicly call someone out who wronged the community or failed to repay a debt.
Dude, imagine getting a shame pole. That would be crazy.
Yeah, so and so said they were gonna pay me $50 and they never did. So watch out for them. They're a scammer, you know.
The whole time the totem pole costs more than the actual debt.
I know, and it's like it's about the principle.
I feel like you're not petty, but I feel like that's something you would do. Like,
yes,
fuck that person. I'm gonna do a shame pole on them.
Yeah. So, I don't remember the schedule of when this is going to come out. Maybe it has or hasn't come out, but I was a guest on someone else's podcast.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, and that's one thing she talked about. She was like, I was binging your episodes and I was surprised that your line was also like people financially messing with you, like messing with yourself and your safety or your family. I understand, but the finances, and it's just like, just me personally, I have Pluto in the second house. Pluto is where you want to hoard power or where you're a little more sensitive. Second house, house of money. So And also, it's in Scorpio. So that's where I really will, like, come and sting you. If you cross that line, you're going to get the tail.
I think you're just messy.
I am not messy. And we will talk about this in the alchemy episode.
Our reel on you wanting to run the fade has a lot of views. You're messy.
Okay,
But I love
so
it.
the three areas, right? Myself,
Now we're
my
justified.
family, and my finances. Don't fuck with me there.
I'm a pacifist, so I wouldn't understand. I'm so chill. I literally have no Aries in me, so everyone has a little piece of astrology in them.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I know. I know the saying.
Yes.
Are you gonna make a shame pull on me now?
No, because I'm not that petty. You didn't cross any of the three lines. Actually, technically, but I know it's in jest. It's fine.
Okay. And then I see here you have something called a legend pull.
Yes, so the legend pole depicts stories from oral tradition. So if the native peoples wanted to talk about, you know, the story of the creator or some sort of like mythology that they like to tell, whether it's allegorical to teach something or whether it's an actual belief, but it is a record keeping system of like, this is how this tale goes. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And then there's house frontal poles, which are literally integrated into the architecture of a plank house. So they're like, imagine like decorative columns. They could.
So they're structural.
Yes, they're structural.
Yes.
Yes, structural / decorative because they're also going to look nice.
Well, a lot of columns can serve multi-purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could have whatever they want. It could be like decorative, it could be oral tradition, it could be something to do with the family, like here are all the people that live here. It just depends on the person that is, you know, buying it for their house.
I'm chuckling a little bit because I'm currently on my like 4th rewatch of Parks and Recs, and there is an episode where they go to a dinosaur themed restaurant that like closed out and they're wanting to rent it, but there's like a giant dinosaur and they're like, can we remove the dinosaur? And they're like, no, that's a load bearing dinosaur.
Oh
So
my
it's
God.
part of the structure.
That's funny. Yeah, exactly. And then there's welcome or warning poles. So if there's like, you know how we have like, welcome to California, welcome to Oregon, or even counties like, welcome to LA County. Kind of like that. Those are welcome poles or warning poles of like, do not cross, or if you approach, like such and such will happen to you, you know? So, yeah.
Okay. And people knew how to read those? Although they would find out?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. I mean, they're all very like...
it's just interesting you have them under the same category, and like a welcome pole and a warning pole are so polar opposites. Like, I don't know if like maybe they look similar, but imagine you're thinking it's a welcome pole, but it's like a warning pole.
They're obviously very visual.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that a welcome pole would be like more cutesy or traditional, and a warning pole would be more scary and
Or daunting.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a sign, right? Like you could have a sign that says welcome to this place versus like do not cross.
Trespassers will be shot.
Trespassers will be shot.
Yeah.
No lifeguard, whatever, you know. It's just signage at the end of the day. And then, like I said, the decorative, artistic poles now. The tallest totem pole, fun fact, was erected in 1973 in Alert Bay, British Columbia, Canada. And the structure tells the story of the, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Kawakawakawak people through intricate carvings.
Okay. And how tall was it?
173 feet.
Wow, that's super tall.
Yes.
Do cedars grow that big? I know redwoods do. But do cedars?
mean, I don't know if it's like a thing, and I should have looked
It's
this up.
sectioned.
Yeah, or maybe it's sectioned and glued together.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about how they got this tall. Like these that are hella tall are more modern.
Got it.
Yes,
Yeah.
the traditional poles
Probably
were
like 6 feet, 7 feet.
closer to 6 to 10 feet ish.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I do have a section on how the poles kept growing, but the traditional ones were closer to the 10 feet side.
10 feet. I have a 2-part question for you. One is, if you could choose a pole based on the pole types, which one would it be? And then second, what would be on your pole? And if you would would do like a custom pole, that's also an option. So first one, which one would you choose?
Has anyone wronged me recently? There's
Oh my
nobody in the
See,
freezer.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you say you're calm and you only have 3 things, but you're always trying to do something.
No, there's nobody in the freezer right now, so no shame pole.
No shame pole.
Yeah, I think I would maybe do a commemorative pole for our union and our wedding.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cute.
Or some sort of like clan pole.
Who's your clan?
Clan as in our family.
Oh,
like,
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you, me, and Lucy.
That's what I was
Like-
thinking. Yeah.
Like, you know how sometimes people have like welcome to like the Smiths or
Yeah.
something, or how sometimes on cars people have the little like stickers of like the people in their family, something like that.
I feel like somebody gave us a custom sign with our like family name on it.
They gave us a custom frame, a picture frame for our wedding.
Frame. Okay, did we ever use it? I don't think so. I don't know where that frame is.
I
feel
we
bad
have
now.
it. No, we
Okay.
have it, but we're not really like physical picture people, although we could.
Yeah.
We probably should print one and use it. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, we do have some pictures of us, but yeah, we could be better about that.
Mm-hmm.
So you would do a what was it? A legend pole?
No.
No.
A commemorative
Commemorative pole. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Either that or like a welcome poll of like these are the inhabitants of this place, like the or no, more like a house poll. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would do. And then I guess if I were to choose animals that would be sacred to us, I don't know, I think
Well, I would do Lucy. And
Yeah,
then I would
the
do a
dog.
duck because ducks are my favorite animal. Your favorite animals are otters, right?
no. My favorite animal fluctuates. I do also like birds, but
That's true. You're a big bird person.
birds and dogs. So yes, another type of bird.
Yeah, yeah. For you, your animal choices do fluctuate. I do remember specifically you've said you like otters, and I want to say you told me you like pigs, but I could be wrong on that.
I was born near the pig, so
Yeah, yeah. So that would be a cute one, like a three person. Mine would probably have a Pokemon on there too, to be quite honest. But it would have something that represents you, something that represents me, and then definitely Lucy for sure. Yeah.
what about you?
Yeah, I think along the same lines, right? It would be probably the house one. I am really interested in the mortuary one. I think that one's cool. 'cause
That one would be cool.
It's like a sarcophagus, right? Like the mummies that are inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just wouldn't want to do that. Like I want to be cremated. Like, I don't.
Oh, well, the whole body is not shoved in there. It's a cremated remain.
Oh, it's a cremated.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they're in a box. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like the whole totem opened up.
Oh, no.
Like a sarcophagus, and the person was shoved
No,
inside.
sorry. Yes, clarification. These
Yes.
are cremated remains. Yes.
Oh, and then just there's like a notch somewhere where they put them in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they're in like a box and it opens kind of like a locker and then.
Yeah. I think that would be really cool. It'd be super modernized, I think, for me. But I don't know what it would be on there. But just the concept of having that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be very cool. A lot of the original totem poles are not around because they're made out of wood. They would normally be outside. And
Yeah.
in the Pacific Northwest, you have a lot of rain.
Yeah.
So they would rot.
Probably rain, termites, all that. Yeah. I guess circling back a little bit to the beginning, I answered this, but where's kind of your line with appreciation versus appropriation?
I would say appropriation is trying to gain something, whether it's like a coolness factor or monetize it somehow without permission or the respect of the original peoples whom the tradition comes from. I would say that's appropriation versus appreciation is taking the time to like learn, not trying to abuse it in any way or receiving it as a gift.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then you kind of agree with me with the craftsmanship, right? Like, you would feel more comfortable buying it from somebody who made it locally or made it from that community.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I guess if it was like an artist that's like, I designed it and then I had someone else do the labor, but it's still my like brainchild, but they would have to be involved in some way of the process for sure. But of course, if you could buy it from the artist and themselves are like, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this, that's even better, because then you get, like, in my metaphysical belief, like kind of the energy from them. It's sort of like art. It's like when you buy a piece of art, you don't want it to be like, oh, the artist just like signed it, but their apprentices made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or the original versus a print. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I can't wait to hear more about like the intricacies and like how they're made after this ad break.
Today's episode is brought to you by us, Kythera Collective. If you've been vibing with the energy of the show, then you're going to love the Kythera Club over on Patreon. It's a space that I built for the cosmic, the curious, and the slightly chaotic. You know who you are. With 3 delicious tiers to choose from, we start with the chocolate level at $4 a month, which gains you access to weekly horoscopes and the exclusive Unhinged podcast, where I say things that don't make it to this main feed. It's sweet, it's spicy, and it's just for you. Next, we have the cafe level at $7 a month. This is where things really start to get cooking. You'll receive access to exclusive workshops, monthly virtual hangouts, and a private Discord community where you can chat directly with me and receive exclusive behind the scenes updates. It's magical, cozy, and a little unhinged in the best way. Finally, we have the tequila level. This is the VIP lounge. At $25 a month, you'll receive everything from the previous tiers, plus a personal 15-minute one-on-one session with myself or David each month, and discounts if you want to extend the session. It's a whole vibe and a powerful way to receive personalized guidance. So if you've been laughing along with us, crying or rage screaming in agreement, come hang out with us at the Kythera Club. Head over to patreon.com/JenCalo and choose your tier. If you want to sponsor an episode and advertise with us, go to our website, www.jencalo.com. All right, now back to the show. Welcome back. So let's talk about the actual imagery and symbolism and intentionality behind the totem poles. So the animals weren't decorative choices. They were either part of a family crest or sacred to the tribe and the peoples, specific to lineage and history. They don't just pick an animal because they like it.
Yeah, it's not just a vibes thing.
Yeah, the animal often traces back to an ancestral encounter, some sort of like myth or folklore, or an inherited right. So,
is there hierarchies to animals, or is it like it just depends on the situation? Like an eagle's higher than like a fish.
Each animal has their own what's called like medicine or their own teaching. So it's like everyone has their strengths. It's not like one is better than the other.
In the original Power Rangers movie, they had a scene where the Power Rangers lost their powers and then they got new powers, but their new powers were animal powers. So each Power Ranger was assigned an animal, and one of them got a toad and he was all bummed out. And the lady who was giving them their powers was hot, so she just kissed them, and he's like, okay, I guess that's okay.
Oh my.
But it does suck, because like somebody got a bear, somebody got a falcon, somebody got like a gorilla, and then he gets a fucking toad. So I would have been pretty pissed too.
Yeah. Well, each animal has their own strengths.
Yes.
Their own medicine, as they say. So some of the more traditional animals along the whole Pacific Northwest that you would see are ravens, eagles, bears, wolves, orcas, and then beavers, frogs, salmon, hummingbirds, and then other mythological creatures. One of those, and some of the most important, being a thunderbird. So for those of you watching the video, this top bird that you're seeing, this is the thunderbird. So the thunderbird is sacred to a lot of the peoples of that region, and it's supposed to represent being in touch with the creator, protection, abundance. And for those of you on audio that can't see what this looks like, it kind of has the face of an owl and it has its wings spread out.
Yeah, and we'll take a picture of it and put it on our Instagram post.
Yes.
For reference.
Yeah. So the colors are also intentional, and a lot of it, just like the animals, those animals are native to the Pacific Northwest. Same thing with the paint. The paint was made from natural pigments of what people could find. So black is used, obviously. It's good to like outline, add emphasis. That was made from soot.
Yeah, and that's readily available.
Yes. And then red was from red clay. Blue, there's different types of blue. There's like a blue green, and then there's like a turquoise.
Blue is actually very hard to find naturally in nature. I mean, I guess the sky is one thing, but other than that, it's really hard to find. There was an episode, I believe, on Radiolab where they did a whole episode on like the color blue, and I think for the longest time, it was one of those like philosophical questions of like if a tree falls in the forest, you hear it. Because it was so rare, people had never really seen it. So they're like, does it exist? So it was a really, really good episode. I highly recommend it. But blue is very hard to find naturally in nature. And
even if you get a blue flower or a blue fruit or something, usually when you boil it, it comes out more purple.
Yeah.
Yes. So the blue-green, there was a theory that it came from copper compounds, but more recently they've identified that a big primary source was more like a mineral called seladonite, which is surprisingly durable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if Moonchild Crystal Shop sells it. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll have to ask them just so we can see a sample.
And then yellow came from plants or the gallbladders of animals. Nothing went to waste, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the gallbladders. You don't know what that's like anymore, do you?
Nope, got my gallbladder taken out. And good riddance. I feel so much better.
Was it yellow? Ugh.
I mean, not mine because it was not doing so hot.
Yeah.
But yes. I realized how close I was to like
being in a totem pole
because I was looking back at my medical records for something, and I was borderline septic when that was happening. And that also happened to my aunt. Basically, I didn't know my family history with gallbladders, and once it happened to me, all of my female family members came out that are older than me, and they're like, oh yeah, I also had that.
You're like, thanks for the heads up.
The only person that didn't have experiences was my mom, therefore she was like, no, you don't have a family history of this. But then it's like, everyone except you has had issues. Anyway, then white came from calcium carbonate, which is basically chalk, gypsum, or soft white clay. And then, like we said, purple from flowers or berries.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then a misconception is that they are religious idols.
Yes, and that's what I was talking about at the beginning. I think there is a huge misconception that like they're spiritual idols that people like worship, right?
Yeah, and they are not. The closest you can get to spirituality is that they are basically a story of how like the creator made this or a spirit did that, but you don't necessarily pray to it. It's more like it's like the Bible. You don't pray to the Bible. You reference the Bible.
Or like the tablets, I guess. Right? I guess Moses' tablets are sacred, and then John Smith's tablets, the golden tablets that nobody could see.
I mean, they're sacred, but you don't pray to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes.
They are sacred references. Yeah. There's a difference. But of course, the colonizers always are like, that's the devil. You're praying to it. Yeah. No, they were not. It was sacred references.
Yeah. And communication tools and documentation. Yeah. So it was like multi-purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of anthropologists and historians look back and there are no records of them being worshipped. It was just a colonial misconception, sadly. And with that, the peak of totem pole carving came in the mid 1800s because when the colonizers came over, they did do a little trade. It was all Gucci at first till it wasn't. And they introduced them to metal tools. So with metal tools, they were able to make more intricate, taller, reinforced totem poles. But then soon after, they're like, oh, this is getting out of hand. And then in 1884, Canada's Indian Act banned making totem poles.
What were they making them with before? Like, I'm guessing bones and stones?
Yeah, probably more more native carving tools compared to like the metal tools that were introduced. Missionaries pushed for the poles to be cut down, framing them as pagan idols. So many of them were destroyed, confiscated, or left to rot. And because before, if they were rotting, just new ones would be made to replace them.
Yeah.
But
once old ones rotted, they weren't replaced, essentially.
Yeah. And then if they weren't destroyed, they were collected, aka stolen, and shipped to museums and parks around the world, removing their communities and contexts.
That's so sad. Like, yeah, that's really sad. It's the equivalent of a book burning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing, which is kind of a unique angle that I haven't heard from the colonizers before, that for the more ceremonial poles of like this is happening, it was seen as to they didn't use the word communist, but for a lack of a better word, like, oh, this is like you're giving away or you're sharing with the community. That's a little weird. You need to be more individualistic.
Sharing in what way?
Sharing community resources.
Oh, to make these poles? So, for example, like somebody would be like, oh, I have like a log, or somebody would say like, oh, I have the paint?
Yeah. So,
or what do you mean by that?
So basically, when it was erected, they didn't necessarily belong to a person unless it was like a house pole. Like once they were erected in the community, like the myth poles or the commemorative.
It's kind of like maybe putting a statue in a park. Like it doesn't belong to someone.
Yes, like that. So a lot of them, the majority of them, did not belong to a person. They belong to the community. Again, unless it was like a
house one.
A house one. But even then, the like will ones are like a notice to the community, like so and so is taking over this like estate or this area. So it was mentioning someone, but it didn't belong to someone because it was a community notice.
Yeah.
So it was like that's a little communist. That's a little too.
They just couldn't fathom that people cared about each other.
Yeah. So that was seen as like weird. It was seen as unstable and irrational.
Now, you want to just pause a little bit and give some context. So we talked about the colonization of these people. It would have been Russians, right? Because Alaska was sold to the U.S. By Russia.
But a lot of Canada was colonized by the French.
Oh, the French, yeah.
So
it's a combination.
Yeah, it's a combination.
Yeah.
This is we're talking about mainly Canada. Because
and the Pacific Northwest, you said.
Yeah. Because I mean, there was no like America's like how we see it now.
Yeah.
Obviously it belonged to the native peoples, but then it was more like the French, Canadian, like at one point Washington, Oregon, all of that was under the control of Canada. And then, like you said, Alaska was part of Russia. And then Manifest Destiny, the United States kept moving west. And then they traded in the south, it was Mexico. Well, first Spain, then it became Mexico. Yeah. Anyway, the Louisiana Purchase, all of that stuff. Eventually, bits and pieces were sold to people. Of the native land, That
makes sense, yeah. One thing that we haven't touched on, and I guess this is pure speculation, the reason we have, indigenous people in the Americas is because of the land bridge that occurred with ice and covering the strait from Russia to the U.S., the modern day Russia to the U.S. But a lot of those people were of like Asian descent, right? Do we see any like Asian iconography in totem poles that you know of, or would we have to reason that there would be some Asian iconography?
Okay, yes, but let me say something before I forget. I forgot to include Britain. Duh. Okay. Britain also colonized Canada and the Pacific Northwest. But yes, so when we went to the Native Peoples museums in Prince Rupert,
yes,
we saw a lot of Asian coins and references to dragons. So a lot of people think Christopher Columbus and the English like ran this bit. No.
Well, hopefully nobody thinks that anymore. I definitely don't think that and haven't thought that in several years.
Some people do think that. The Asians and the Vikings ran circles around us. Like they were exploring the globe and they're like, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely came to the Americas way before the Europeans. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know if there was any Asian influence in the totem poles, and if there was, they probably disintegrated and were lost in time.
Yeah.
But there was definitely Asian influence with some native art. And like I saw it firsthand in the museum. It was really cool looking.
Yeah, it was really cool to see.
Yeah.
I think people forget about that. The land bridge that occurred with the ice ages.
Yes, but this was not because of the land bridge. This was because the Asians were exploring the globe like before the Europeans, and they made contact way before. The British and the French and stuff. But in terms of the ice age and the land bridge, there is some theories with anthropologists. There's a lot of like genetic similarities with some Asian cultures and some Native American peoples.
Yes.
But then also like in Mexico specifically, like the heads of the Toltec are very similar to something in Asia that I can't remember right now. I remember I took a class on it in college.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Because also like Russia is really close to Asia. So yes, they went like up Asia, Russia, cross the bridge. Also, Russia and Alaska are crazy close. I didn't realize how close
it's
were.
Narrow.
Yeah, it's hella narrow.
And that's kind of our connecting point to the world, which is also insane.
Yeah. We just fly the other way for political reasons sometimes. But
well, there's Pangea, the big continent, and then there's the break. But then the fact that we were able to still like come, I guess, to the new world through that like ice bridge is pretty incredible.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a multifaceted answer.
Yes.
What was the last thing I said? Yeah, some museums collected, aka stole them. The act of radical communal generosity was literally legislated against, and what went against Protestant and European ideals, especially because with Protestantism there's a big emphasis on like idle hands are the devil's playthings, and you must be productive, and
leisure is not non-existent.
You need to like earn your keep for moral reasons. Anyway,
same fucking story. It's like boring at this point, right?
Literally 130 episodes in, it's like, who's gonna fuck this up? In 1951, Canada revised the Indian Act and dropped the ban on the totem pole making. But at that point, how many artisans are left? Because it was a tradition handed down from generation to generation.
It's like a little too late, basically.
There are a few surviving artists that still know how to make it and are trying to teach the new generation, but not as many as in the peak in the 1880s. A lot of indigenous communities obviously have begun actively reclaiming the tradition, and they're trying to commission more poles. But are they the original like 7? No, they're more activist and artistic oriented at this point.
Really good episode. I mean, inspired by our trip, but learned a lot. And again, it was a great learning experience. And you see them; they're a big part of pop culture. But really understanding what they are and what they mean, I think is significant. And I'm glad we were able to dedicate a whole episode just to provide that education. Speaking of education, we are going to go into our fact checks. We haven't done a fact check in a while, and we have a lot of things to catch up on. So if you have been listening to our more recent episodes, we want to be kind of just mindful of information and make sure that we fact check anything that we say to the best of our abilities. We are an entertainment show, so keep that in mind. From the Voladores episode, we talked about terminal velocity, and just a definition: terminal velocity is the maximum constant speed a falling object reaches when the downward pull of gravity is perfectly balanced by the upward resistance. Basically what that means is you hit a point at a height where, like, even if you're higher than that, you're not going to go any faster. So I think there's an assumption that, like, the higher you go, the faster you'll fall. There's a specific, like, height where it doesn't matter, even if you went up another 100 feet, like, you would still fall at the same velocity. And
terminal velocity isn't like a specific speed. It depends on the mass of the object itself. Like, the terminal velocity of a grape is different than the terminal velocity of a human.
And the air resistance as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is the pole a certain height? This was also for the voladores. It isn't. It depends on many factors. Materials available, rope adjusted according to make a specific number of twirls. So I asked them that, like, does the height of the pole have any significance? Turns out it doesn't. It's just based on what the materials are. This was a little embarrassing, but we talked about the 5 elements. To clarify once and for all, the 5 elements are air, earth, fire, water, and the human spirit. I think you might have said like air twice, and I might have said like water twice, but those are the 5.
No, what it was you were trying to roast me for not saying it. Then I said it wrong. Yeah. And then I was tuning you out because I was trying to remember, like, don't forget to say human spirit. Yes. I was telling myself that. So I was just like, yeah, plus human spirit. That's what it was.
All right. Do you want to read for Quetzalcoatl?
Yes, for the Quetzalcoatl episode. There were a lot of people that got mad that were Catholic and or Spanish, which is cool. Our TikTok and our reel broke containment, but Quetzalcoatl did not want human sacrifices and instead accepted sacrifices of snakes and hummingbirds. That was one thing, and some people in the comments were like, yeah, totally. And then another clarification, La Quinta Estación, their band name, it is unsure. I couldn't find a primary source of a band member saying like, oh yeah, we named ourselves this. There are 2 theories. It's not because of the 5th sun. We know that for a fact. It's not that deep. The 2 theories are that the band members lived 5 metro stations away. So La Quinta Estación, the 5th station. Station, estación. Yeah, estación also means season. Yeah. So it could be the 5th season, like they're all coming together and creating like this harmonious new thing, but it's not tied to the Aztec myth of the 5th sun. Yes. Is the ultimate fact check.
It was really cool finding that out. Yeah. And yeah, I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. Hernan Cortés, we talked about him and possibly him burning his ships or his warships so his soldiers would be motivated to conquer the land because they couldn't go back home. So we found out that he did not burn them. He scuttled them, which means he let water in to flood them, but similar concept. So the reasoning is the same, but the method is different.
Then we also talked about La Malinche. She is...
I'm going to put just an asterisk on La Malinche. We're going to do a quick just recap of what it is. We might do an episode on her because it's a very interesting and sensitive topic that I think deserves its flowers. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So when people say no seas malinche or don't be malinche, it is used as a derogatory term to mean like mean or a traitor. And that is because Malinche was an enslaved indigenous teen who acted as a crucial interpreter, advisor, and intermediary for Hernan Cortés. She was very intelligent and she was able to pick up on the language very quickly. So she was one of the few interpreters. So obviously they were like, we're going to enslave you for this purpose because you have this gift and this ability.
Yeah. The natives thought she was a traitor. But the reality, she was a child. Let's just start there. She was a child who was put in a shitty situation.
And even if there was, because there are some insinuations that she was like in love with him, even then a child cannot consent. And if that was the case, which a lot of people could just be throwing shade and saying, oh, she liked him. We don't know for sure. But even if that was the case, that would be like a trauma bond. Like it's not. Yeah. We can do a whole episode on her and I think we should.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. What's the oldest religion in the world? Just per Encyclopedia Britannica, the irony there. Sorry. Hinduism, how do you say that?
Zoroastrianism.
Yeah, which is a Persian religion, and then Judaism. And then we do have a couple more, but we're probably gonna save them for the rest of or for another episode. But the Quetzalcoatl holy sites, because we asked, is there any holy sites in Mexico that pay reverence to Quetzalcoatl? One of them was the Temple of the Feathered Serpents. It's 25 miles northeast of Ciudad de Mexico, which is Mexico City. And in Spanish, it's just called Templo de Quetzalcoatl, which is Quetzalcoatl's temple.
So we'll save the fact check of the fighting festival for next time.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening and enjoying today's episode. If you want to get a hold of Jen, how could they do so?
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky, Threads, at Jen Kahlo, or Facebook, Kythera Collective LLC, or our recently revamped website. I'm quite proud of myself.
Check it out.
JenKahlo.com. And remember, if you like the show, rate it, give us 5 stars, and share with a friend who might find the history of totem poles interesting.
All right, everybody. Bye.
Remember, the magic within you makes the world a more beautiful place. Blessed be, and signing off. Bye.
Bye.